English podcast.
From LangWidge Web.
Have you ever been asked to describe a trip, but all you could think of was, it was fun?
Yup, that's one of the most common mistakes IELTS students make. They give short, vague answers and lose valuable points.
In today's episode of LangWidge Web, we're going to help you speak confidently and clearly about your favorite holiday or trip, just like in IELTS Speaking Part 2.
We'll show you how to structure your answer clearly, learn some useful vocabulary and phrases, hear a sample answer and break it down, and finally, practice a little yourself.
So grab a pen or just listen in, and let's make your storytelling more natural and impressive.
All right, before we jump into today's topic, let's quickly talk about IELTS Speaking Part 2.
This part is often called the long turn. You're given a topic card and 1 minute to prepare. Then you speak for 1 to 2 minutes, no interruptions, just you, the question, and your answer.
It can feel a little scary at first, but with the right structure and practice, it's actually a great chance to show off your speaking skills.
Today's topic is describe a favorite holiday or trip. You might talk about a beach trip with friends, a family visit, or even a solo adventure.
In this episode, we'll help you understand how to structure your answer clearly, learn some useful vocabulary and phrases, hear a sample answer and break it down, and finally, practice a little yourself.
So stay with us, and by the end, you'll feel way more confident tackling this topic in your next IELTS speaking test. All right, let's see how a real IELTS Speaking Part 2 conversation might sound.
Yeah, it's one thing to learn vocabulary, but hearing it used naturally helps a lot.
So we're going to do a short role play. I'll be the examiner asking the question, and Maria will answer it as if she's in the test.
I'll try to keep it natural with some of the expressions we talked about.
Okay, here comes the question. All right, Maria. Now, I'd like you to talk for 1 to 2 minutes on this topic. Describe a favorite holiday or trip. You should say where you went, who you went with, what you did, and explain why it was your favorite holiday. You have 1 minute to prepare. Okay, please begin when you're ready.
Thanks. So, one of my all-time favorite trips was a weekend I spent in Đà Lạt, Vietnam, about 2 years ago. I went there with 2 close friends from university. We'd just finished a stressful exam period, so we all needed a break. We decided to escape the city and head to the mountains, and Đà Lạt was the perfect place. We stayed at a cozy little homestay surrounded by pine trees. It felt super peaceful, like being in a different world. Every morning, we'd wake up early, grab some banh mi and coffee from a street vendor, and go explore. One highlight was visiting a strawberry farm where we picked our own strawberries. It might sound simple, but it was honestly so fun. I remember we were laughing nonstop because my friend kept picking the tiny, funny-looking ones. What made it special wasn't just the place, but the vibe. You know, the fresh air, the laughter, the feeling of freedom. It really helped me recharge and connect with my friends. So, yeah, that's definitely one trip I'll never forget.
Nice. That was very natural. A few quick notes for our listeners. Did you catch how Maria used the phrase all-time favorite? That's a great way to show strong emotion. Also, she said laughing non-stop and the vibe. Both are casual, native-like expressions. And pronunciation tip, notice how she said gonna instead of going to. Totally fine in natural speech, but don't overuse it in formal parts.
Right. And one more tip. When describing past experiences, try to paint a picture with your words. Talk about sounds, smells, even small moments. It makes your answer more vivid and engaging.
All right, let's break down some of the useful expressions and vocabulary Maria used in her answer. You can use these in your own IELTS speaking responses to sound more natural and fluent. 1. All-time favorite. Maria said, "One of my all-time favorite trips." This means something you love the most, more than any other. Try using it. That's my all-time favorite movie. 2. Cozy little homestay. Cozy means warm, comfortable, and small in a pleasant way. Great for describing hotels, cafes, or homes. Example: we stayed in a cozy cabin by the lake. 3. Surrounded by pine trees. This paints a clear picture. Using surrounded by plus nature, like trees, mountains, or water, is a good way to add description. Tip: use your senses, sight, smell, sound, to enhance your story. 4. Laughing non-stop. This is a casual and expressive way to show you had fun. Try using it. The whole trip was so fun, we were laughing non-stop. 5. The vibe. This is an informal word for the atmosphere or feeling of a place. Maria said, "What made it special wasn't just the place, but the vibe." Example: the cafe had a really chill vibe.
And here are a few bonus expressions you can try in your own answers. It felt like being in a different world, to show contrast from daily life. Recharge means to rest and regain energy, like charging a phone. And a weekend getaway, a short trip for fun or relaxation.
Don't worry about using too many advanced words. Focus on sounding clear, natural, and specific. That's what the examiner wants to hear.
Perfect. Here's the practice time section for your IELTS Speaking podcast episode. This part encourages active participation and helps learners build confidence by speaking along.
Right. And one more tip. When describing past experiences, try to paint a picture with your words. Talk about sounds, smells, even small moments. It makes your answer more vivid and engaging.
Ready? Repeat after us.
One of my all-time favorite trips was...
We stayed in a cozy little homestay.
We were laughing non-stop.
What made it special was the vibe.
It helped me recharge and relax.
Great job! Don't worry if it wasn't perfect. You can rewind and practice as many times as you like.
Now here's a quick role play. Imagine you're the student and I'm the examiner. I'll ask the question and you try to speak for about 30 seconds using at least 2 expressions we just practiced.
Here's the question. Describe a favorite holiday or trip. Ready? Take a breath and go.
Nice work. Even if you just spoke a little, that's a win. Keep building your fluency day by day.
And remember, the key is practice. The more you speak, the more confident and natural you'll sound.
It's time for your listener challenge. Today, we want you to think of your own favorite holiday or trip and try to describe it using at least 3 phrases from this episode.
Record yourself speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. You can use your phone. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on getting your ideas out clearly and confidently.
And then listen back and ask yourself, did I use descriptive language? Did I organize my answer clearly? Did I sound natural?
And here's your learning tip. Practice in chunks, not full scripts. Break your answer into small parts, like the intro, the place, what you did, and rehearse each one. It's much easier that way.
All right, let's quickly recap what we covered today. We looked at an IELTS Part 2 question, describe a favorite holiday or trip. We shared a sample answer using natural expressions and storytelling. You practiced with us using Repeat After Me and a mini role play. And you got a fun challenge to keep improving on your own.
If you found this episode helpful,
Don't forget to follow LangWidge Web, leave a comment, or share this with a friend who's also preparing for IELTS.
Next time, we'll dive into another common IELTS topic. So stay tuned and keep practicing.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, speak more, stress less, and let your English flow.
See you next time. English Podcast.
From LangWidge Web.